All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the Eric Zane Show podcast. It happens each and every day of the week, Monday through Friday. From the Impact Power Sports studio, Impact Power Sports online at impactpowersportsmi.com. I will be hanging out with the good folks from Impact Power Sports at the Outdoors Show at DeVos Place on Saturday. That's a place where you go and you want to buy like a hunting blind or maybe an iced shanty. Other various outdoor sportsman type things. It's a fantastic show. I think it's the largest in Michigan, but Impact Power Sports kind of goes hand in hand with their gear there. Hold up a quick second. Hey, Darla. No. Yeah, licking the ears of Bruce is going to lead to trouble. We can't have that. Welcome to each and every one of you. It's a fantastic day as we do this show, again, from the Impact Power Sports studio. One more thing. They're located on 14 Mile Road in Rockford, Michigan. They are outstanding. Go there for a brand new golf cart, an Easy Go golf cart, perhaps a Yamaha golf cart. List goes on and on. I think I have to make my logos a little bigger in here. I was talking with my pal Adam Kasari, and he said, my logo's a little small, Easy. And I'm like, oh, God, I'm so sorry. Oh, no, I'm messing everything up. Anyway, I'll take care of that later. A full show here, and I want to start off by, first of all, it is a Big Fraud Thursday. And today, not only is it Big Fraud Thursday, and that's a gigantic day for me in terms of actually speaking onto a microphone. On a typical Big Fraud Thursday, you're looking at 2.5, 3, 5+ hours of actually broadcasting. But today, it's a little different. It's more like 6.5+ hours, because in between all of the normal Big Fraud Thursday adventures and shenanigans, I am doing a second show with Christian Blatt for Who Are These Broadcasters? As Alan Martinson checks in. Hello. Glad you're here. Follow the page, and please subscribe to the page so you can get this without commercials. You can do that by linking up your Amazon Prime account. Don't ask me how. There's a way to do it, though. But, yeah, so Christian and I are doing – see, he's incapacitated. He's, like, doing something next week. He can't do the normal show, so we're doing it early today on the Who Are These Podcasts YouTube channel. And so that means 6.5 hours of podcast broadcasting. Not to mention, I just did the Insane Asylum on Q100. And I also voice tracked Afternoons on Big 101.3, which we just got ratings back. And I might be the least listened to portion of that entire radio station, because they like send ratings out and it shows you the specific times of day. They're called day parts. Like I'm in afternoon drive, the afternoon drive day part, and you can look at the time that I'm on and the age group. And even with an age group that's like an older audience for an oldies station, They just, it's like, God, that guy stinks. And the rest of the talents, they all have like much higher numbers. So I am the absolute weak link at the radio station. I don't know why they put up with that. I'm just hoping that they don't notice, frankly. But everybody's beating me. There's like some station that's like run out of like some guy's lives with his mom in the basement, and his pirate radio station has significantly larger audience than me. I could yell out the window and more people would be listening. And I don't understand because we play the fun hits that you know over there on the oldie station. You know, like Build Me Up Buttercup by the Foundations. Harry Chapin, Cats in the Cradle. Aram says, do you talk about dishwashers or snacks? Try that. No. I did. I was also able to see the ratings of our pals Free Beer and Hot Wings, and bigger than ever. I mean, remarkable. Year to year, it was already high, and now it's like insanely high. In Grand Rapids, Michigan, they are killing it. I can't. There's nothing I can say other than splitting hairs with but the overall audience, the number of people listening is greatly reduced, so thus they will still get the percentage of audience, but nobody cares about that. I mean, I do, and I'm telling you that you would, so you know, but all of the chit-chatting that we do on who are these free beers and busting their balls and making fun of them, it's the audience doesn't care. They're still going to listen. They love it. I guess. And that's all very, very good news for me and all of you. That ensures more time that they stay embedded in their time slot and on this radio station for us to be able to do Who Are These Free Beers. We always want this. We don't ever want that to end. I mean, it's kind of like good news. Like if it ends, you just want to go, yeah, fuck you. But if it ends, we don't want it to end because then what are we going to do about Who Are These Free Beers? Molly says, I'm sorry, Easy. I'd listen, but I don't do radio stations no more, she writes. Fucking commercials and shit, she writes. Well, I love those commercials. Those are the best commercials. Aram says, no one interesting is getting radio to compete with them, I guess. I don't know. Or no one interesting is getting into radio to compete with them, I guess. Yeah, I have no idea. Jeremy says Bob and Tom also got awesome ratings. Doesn't mean it was good. Well, no, it doesn't mean that it's good. But at that, like we've indicated, I don't think that they really care. And you can't. You know, if I'm in that boat, I would do the same thing. I would just get in there and try to have a good time and do what I do. But, yeah, I don't think that the way I am is cut out for broadcasting. I mean, I can do it by myself on Q100 and, for small, short little intervals. But I don't think that there's going to be a spot for someone like me doing it the way I did it. Nick is here. He talks about our pal Anthony Cumia got a new radio job and heard they are talking syndication already. Would not surprise me. Anthony's a terrific talent, always has been. It's on WABC 770 AM in New York, where, it's AM, but still, Anthony might be just what they need. I don't know necessarily if radio anywhere is going to be able to make a comeback, though. But who knows? Good for him. I'm happy for him. Like I said, I've always liked Anthony. He's always treated me very well. He invited me onto his show when he was in New York City. That was a big thrill. We did 90 minutes together on Compound Media. Got to meet the crew over there, and we hit it off. It was a lot of fun. And then when Anthony's heart exploded, I filled in a few times from here doing the Anthony Cumia show. Now I didn't like do the racist shit or anything like that. Anthony is not afraid to make awful racist jokes. And I'm like, dude, I can't do that. And don't make jokes like that around me. There's a lot of crazy shit I do, but the one thing I don't want to do is racist jokes, you fucking idiot. God damn. All right. Patrick says he thinks that the syndication with Anthony is a done deal. I think he'd be good at it. I'm continuing to build my brand here on the podcast. I have accepted, I was offered, I talked about this on the Patreon yesterday, but since then the deal has been finalized. I am branching out into education. I was approached by a faculty head at one of the colleges, universities in the area. And, hey, I'm doing because I guess, this lady is in charge of broadcasting at the school. And she says, we're changing the coursework. The class is going to be radio and podcasting. Will you teach the class? And she says, do you have a master's degree? I go, no. She goes, okay, well, we're going to team teach it. So you and I will both do it. So I'm in charge, but you're going to teach it. I go, all right. Yeah. Is that how that works? I don't know. I've never done this shit. And she says, yeah, that's how it works. I go, well, she says, it's 3 hours. It's a 3-hour class, 1 day a week. Do you think you can do that? I go, yeah, I can do that. I can do anything. Remember, I'm the greatest at everything. I go, of course. Now, she says, I'm going to need you for this, and this, the expertise in broadcasting and podcasting and basically teaching these people how to do it. Cole says you're going to be a teacher. How much are they going to overpay you? Oh, without a doubt. Now, the pay is fine. That's not the thing. The most tantalizing aspect of this is the content. We are going to have some amazing stories in this adventure, and it starts in the fall. So we've got time to, prepare for it. Nick says this will absolutely be another scenario where they listen to your show a month in and have giant second thoughts. Way ahead of you. In fact, this is the dialogue. Because, this lady who runs the department, I've known her forever. Okay. I come with a disclaimer. I'm getting this out of the way. A lot of what I do on my podcast is satire that could best be described as R-rated or NC-17. Thank you, Alan. I appreciate that, what you just did. Signed up for Tier 1. Tier 1 Twitch, which is different than Tier 1 Patreon. You would probably need to wrap your brain around what I do and be prepared in case anybody has an objection. The last thing I would want is for you to get in trouble. I want you to know what you're getting yourself into. My show isn't exactly sexual or anything like that, but people new to it do not understand what I'm attempting to do. Like today, I was attacking veterans and teachers for being overpaid and complaining too much. 100% of my audience knows I'm kidding, but a person new to it would probably take that poorly. LOL. She didn't blink. Nick adds, it's actually NC 26 because all college kids are pussies. She wrote, people in the class may choose to listen to your podcast. May is in all caps. But what I want from you is your expertise in creating a podcast, how to consider audience building, editing, all things technical, and your radio understanding too. I know very little about the technical side of it. And that's about it. There was really... Hey, knock it off. Hey, Brucey. So I go, all right, yeah, I'll do it. I will do it. Chris K with the comment, let's not forget about all the hot college babes trying to bag the great Easy Rhymes. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Come on now. Amanda says you better tell the department head that you're anti-Trump as well. How come? I mean, I know at the risk of annoying everyone in the chat because you're writing and posting on the chat, I'll play your silly game and ask why. Which 3, 2, 1, Amanda's about to hit enter. Everyone's about to get annoyed. Anybody remember, was it last week when Amanda went hard on gender pronouns for some reason, like out of the blue? Like we were talking about cupcakes and she started talking about gender pronouns. And everybody hated her. We're like, shut up. Just shut up. My God. Stand by. I forgot to, ... I can get one to you, but it won't be till about noon, period. Sorry about that. Bob says at least she took her beating better than Tophus. Aram agrees. He says the subsequent fight was fun, though. It really was. It was outstanding. And, you know, Amanda can take a beating. And Bob with that comment, at least she took her beating better than Tophus. Tophus is gone. He quit the show over it. Patrick says, I get it. I don't believe in adverbs. All right, so I guess we're talking different parts of speech now. Yeah, Tophus bailed, and because it was when he challenged Chris to a fight, and then we all looked at him like he was crazy, and then he just vanished. I think he killed his family or something, and they're all dead. So if you're in Albany, New York, and there's a story about a fat fuck who just wasted his family, that can you let me know? I'm curious about that. And he quit Patreon. It's like, isn't that weird? Here you are, you're enjoying the show, and everybody has fun at your expense, and he doesn't have the ability to laugh that off. Oh my God, what a bitch. Aram with a great point. His stance on the bullets disintegrating theory started his downfall. Yeah, we were all laughing at that and busting his balls over that, but he was actually hurt. Like he was enraged because people were making fun of him. Is that not nuts? I didn't realize it. I thought he was kidding when he was saying that he's actually really, really hurt. What? It's moments like that that makes me feel bad, that it kind of puts me in flux, because I've talked about how much Trump pisses me off, but then I realize that the people that I'm supporting, like let's say voting for Harris, like the other people that are voting for Harris and are bullish about it, like Tophus, I'm like, ugh. Oh, no. Maybe I've made a terrible mistake. My God. I think possibly that, like Aram's point, he started to circle the drain. Yeah, I think he kind of like was really sensitive at that point. And then all it takes is just one little moment, and then he explodes like that. We can't have that on this show, frankly. There is no rage quitting. No one has the patience for that. So he actually made my work easy by bailing. So, all right. See you around. Go fuck yourself. We don't need you. Nick says, I found his Twitter. He is batshit nuts. Yeah, I don't like crazy people listening and watching this show. I've had to deal with a handful of crazy over the years. And the ones that burn hot like that usually are. You know, I like people to pay attention and listen, but don't like think it's that serious. You know, you can't do that. Cole says, I don't know why Tophus listened anyway. I can't picture him ever laughing, without a doubt. So anyway, I am excited, but I'm a little bit nervous about this college thing. So obviously I'll plug in with my pal, friend of the family, who is the department head, and have at it. But this will probably be a lot of fun. What I don't want to do is, I'm concerned about the amount of time. Being a 3-hour class, now I'm not on the hook for all 16 weeks, about half of those weeks. So about 8 of those days, 3 hours, team teaching. Or I don't know, maybe it's all 16 and we're both there at the same time. I have no idea. I don't have all the details, but all I know is that I have committed, and it's happening. So we are adding another job for your old pal EZ. That means that this year you're looking at PA announcer for basketball, hockey, Rangers soccer, Q100, iHeart Grand Rapids, Eric Zane Show podcast, broken down into free podcast and Patreon. Who are these broadcasters? With Christian Blatt, which I did get tax documents from. 1, 2, 3. What else? Fry cook at Bosco's Pub. I'm doing a lot of public speaking and hosting. I'll add that to it. We're looking at 10 different things occupying my time to earn income. That is a diversified work portfolio. Rich says, well, here comes another time change for the free podcast. No way. Because the class is 6 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. It works out fantastically. It's no different than like a hockey night. And the class was supposed to be on Wednesdays, which a lot of my hockey games fall on Wednesdays, especially during the fall. So I said, well, does another day work well, like Monday or Tuesday? And Monday is what it's going to be. Mondays, 6 p.m. to 9:30. People are going to be signing up for the class. I'm going to be cultivating young minds. I think it was Adam Balboa who said, if you're teaching broadcasting, day one, say, don't get into radio. I remember, and it will be very difficult for me to actually recommend going into radio based on the lay of the land with the current business climate for it and what has been a increasingly quicker demise as time passes. Bob says, when are you going to start the Eric Zane Slumlord Rentals? Still on the shelf. I don't have the cheddar yet to start Eric Zane Show Vacation Slumlord Rentals. But I do want to do that. Now, me saying I want to do it and actually doing it are two entirely different things. All right. I want to get into this clip right here. Thank you to Mike Ball for sending it my way. This is taken from something in Washington. This is some type of hearing where the committee or the panel or the whatever subcommittee is talking to another politician. You have the chairperson who bangs the gavel and says, all right, let's begin, and introduces the first person who's talking. It just so happens that the first person who's talking is that newly elected member of Congress that was born a dude and is now a chick. That would be Representative McBride, the first openly transgender member of Congress. The guy who's leading the subcommittee is a Republican who I don't know any of the other players in this. You're seeing a split screen as it starts. So on the top there, the guy with the red tie, he's the troublemaker. Next to him is the other lawmaker who's offended that red tie is misgendering Representative McBride. You know, when a person changes their gender, I understand that probably the worst thing you can do is purposely misgender them. Now, I'm not in here right now to get into a discussion about that, even though I'm sure some of you assholes will, like Amanda. She's probably going to side with this red-tie dickhead here who really goes out of his way to piss off Representative McBride. This is how it went.
I now recognize the representative from Delaware, Mr. McBride.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ranking.
Okay, so it starts with Representative McBride being called a man, Mr. McBride. McBride responds by calling that guy Madam Chair. So kind of gets it back. So it could end there. But this other guy is going to defend. He's going to white knight Representative McBride. Watch his reaction here.
Member Keating, also wonderful.
Mr. Chairman, could you repeat your introduction again, please?
Yes, we have set the standard on the floor of the House, and I'm simply.
What is that standard, Mr. Chairman?
Okay, so the assholes from Texas, the guy who's defending the chick is a Democrat, and he's from Massachusetts.
Could you repeat what you just said when you introduced a duly elected representative from the United States of America? Please.
I will. The representative from Delaware, Mr. McBride.
Mr. Chairman, you are out of order. Mr. Chairman, have you no decency? I've come to
I think the guy from Massachusetts is trying to get some cock.
know you a little bit, but this is not decent.
We will continue this.
You will not continue it with me unless you introduce a duly elected representative the right way.
This hearing is adjourned.
That's a quick way to get shit done in Congress. I mean, this thing was going to be a bore fest anyway, so
I
that's
now
it.
recognize the representative from
Watch Massachusetts guy. Watch how he whips his head around when bald fuck introduces her as him.
Delaware, Mr. McBride.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ranking Member Keating, also wonderful.
Mr.
I'm
Chairman?
sorry.
Oh, no. Yeah, I don't. That's a big no-no, and a quick way to get through these pitifully boring meetings. You know. Let's see. Where are we on the comments? Chris K says, didn't Trump issue in executive order that government employees have to use biological pronouns? I don't know. Perhaps. Wouldn't surprise me. If that's the case, then dude from Texas is following the rules. The Madam Chair response, I think, is fine. Rich says she knows that guy is a bitch and would immediately go to that insult. Megan says, he's my new fave. You mean the White Knight guy? Massachusetts guy? Stevie calls somebody a pussy. Sir Bob says, it's ma'am. Crazy GameStop customer. Not sure what that means. Yoda World says, isn't it equally rude to cut someone off like that mid-sentence? No, I think that the rules were out the window in all of this. Patrick laughs. Nick says, definitely has the overreacting part down, without a doubt. I thought that was a massive overreaction. Maureen says, what a cockhead that chair pussy is. Donut Dan says, just start referring to everyone by last name only. I think that would be a decent thing to do. Megan says an executive order isn't the law, it's a wish. Nick says, oh shit, you never seen crazy GameStop videos? No, I don't think so. I don't think I have. Maybe that's something we can approach a little later on. I'd be happy to check that out. Send it to me, eric@ericzaneshow.com, on the Shoreliner Striping inbox. Thank you, Shoreliner Striping. If I'm Senator or Representative McBride, I'm like, look, shut up. All right, whatever. He said that. No big deal. I called him madam. Don't defend me. I'm in charge of myself. That would have been cool, too. I think that Representative McBride would have gotten a little bit more respect. I don't think she lost any respect. She didn't do anything wrong. If the guy wants to do that, it's going to happen. That is going to happen. You got to just, that kind of comes with the territory. I don't think that the world is there yet to let go of people doing that. That is still okay, I guess, especially with Trump in the White House. You know, the R word is back. We're kind of, that's the lay of the land culturally. And I think that people who are transgender, or people that support transgender people, you have to expect that those assholes who still, the commander-in-chief is behind this. That's the way it goes. You got to get more creative, I think, if you're going to go after losers like that and attack them. You can't just sit there and stomp your feet and then nothing gets done. Come on now. So, yes, Texas guy is an asshole, but that's expected. I think he's the biggest problem in all of this. But Massachusetts guy, I don't know. Just leave it alone. Do your best to be bigger, and that's coming from me, who always goes lower. But in this particular case, I don't know if it helps anything to do that. Yoda World says the high nasally voice didn't help. But that was a great exchange because those meetings are pretty boring otherwise. Starman says, what is the color of ribbon for trans activism? I have no idea. Couldn't tell you. I am, however, though, looking forward to this year's Pride event in Grand Rapids. And we're having one in Hudsonville this year. And that's the one you want to go to. That's one where there's probably going to be a mass shooting because of where I live. I mean, it's one thing in Grand Rapids, but it's a lot more open-minded in that neck of the woods than where I live right now. So I'm going to go down there and probably die because the hillbillies that live here are going to try to intimidate people in Hudsonville. This is a horrible, horrible place for bigotry and discrimination. And so we're going to see some fireworks there, and I think it's going to be great, running the risk of getting shot in the face, but we're probably going to see some brawls between the local gays and the Christians. And I think that is cool. I think that would be awesome. Starman says, when is the Hetero Sex Fest celebration? I don't know that they have one. I don't think that there is. If they can get it to be as much fun, if the Hetero Sex Fest celebration is created, I'm okay with that too. I would also attend that one, as long as there could be some degree of animosity between groups. So you could have people who are heterosexual, and Megan says it's all county fairs, that those are all heterosexual events. Gay people are not allowed to go to county fairs. And she makes a great point. But they should have a hetero sex fest celebration. All right. Megan also said straight people go to Pride. Oh, yeah, I go there. I give out free dad hugs. That's what my shirt says. I have my my purple shirt. This is free dad hugs. I've got my rainbow-colored cowboy hat, and I go there, walk around. And my favorite is to talk to the people who are hanging onto a chain, and then the chain goes to a dog mask, and it attaches to like their face. So I think those are called furries. Am I getting that right? And they're leading them around, and it's just fucking great. It's a scene, man. And the food, they got some of the best food trucks ever there. Latex fetish people, not the same as a furry. Okay. Pup play, I'm being told. There's also our pal Bender Bones, who is there every year from the Satanic Temple of West Michigan. One of my favorite organizations that exists today. Now, let me just say this. If my folks at the college heard that sentence, there's a fairly decent chance that I just ended my teaching career. But again, this is all part of the cost of doing business. I'm like, the very tip top of my food chain is the Eric Zane Show podcast. And it will not be compromised. I don't give a shit what I'm doing. It has to be, you either take it or leave it. That's how I roll. OBX22 says, free dad hugs. Who are you looking to hug? Well, honestly, I know it sounds, for lack of a better term, gay, but the idea is that at the Pride event, there's typically a lot of people who, their parents hate them because they're into cock or whatever. So that the idea was facilitated that, hey, I'll give you a hug. Your dad might hate your guts, but I love you. That's it. So that's fun. I mean, what the fuck is wrong with that, Bob says, I'm looking to hug the neighbor kids. And that is this ridiculous thing that has been perpetuated on the show, that I am a local pervert and that I'm trying to coax children to help me paint the shed, and then after I spill paint on them, take them inside to take their clothes off. That is bullshit. All because I said, hey, no one uses the pool to the neighborhood kids. All kids, get in your swim trunks and come swimming in my pool. And everybody now thinks that I'm some type of pervert. And I know, even though the way I just said that sounded very bad, but this is all Pooh Bear's idea. She invited the neighbors over and said, hey, summertime. I had nothing to do with that. And I was just piggybacking off of that when the neighbor kid came over to mow the lawn. He saw the pool and he said, wow, you're rich. You got a pool. I said, I know that. I know I'm rich. And he said, oh, boy, I wish we had a pool. I go, well, you do. He goes, what? Huh? I go, you can come swim here anytime. Mr. Pop said it's okay. And so then all these young boys and girls swim in my pool. And they have to bring their parents with them. I'm not out there hosing them down or anything like that. Come on now. Starman says, you're the Elon Musk of your neighborhood. I'll take that compliment any day. I think Elon Musk is a goddamn legend, I know a lot of people don't say that about him these days, but talk about, I don't know why everybody is so pissed off at someone who's just doing his job. Trump said to him, I'm making a whole wing of government for you, and you're going to lead it and take your people and do these jobs. He didn't do anything wrong other than when he announced that he's a Nazi. All right? Yes, okay, that's true. He is, in fact, a Nazi. But these are different times. And with Trump in office, it's not cool for me, but Nazis are welcome in the government now. And that's just the way it is. So, like I've said, the day that Trump got elected, you got to wrap your mind around the fact that we are now, for the next 3 years, 10 months, being led by a Nazi, Kevin in James Bay, Ontario says, is a Nazi the worst thing to be these days? I don't know. I think that if a person had to choose between some of the all-time worst things you can be, it's right up there. Like if I had to choose between being a Nazi or a pedophile, 10 out of 10 times I would choose Nazi, right? I mean, we're on the same page with that. I mean, if you had to choose. Or a Nazi or like a child killer or a murderer or a rapist, I'm going to choose Nazi. Those are all terrible things. It's not that great that that's all you can compare it to. Megan says Nazis killed many children. No, we didn't say that. I'm not saying being the Nazi that's going killing people. I'm just saying, like, the Nazi. Rebecca says, I would choose death instead of any of those options. Yeah, I know, but you can't I'm the one who's putting the variables out. You have to play my game. The game is simply called the Eric Zane Show podcast, Nazi or Pedophile. And the parameters are, if you are a Nazi, all you're doing is going to like various rallies and saying mean things to people, and you're dressing poorly with a bad haircut. And if you're a pedophile, you are actually having sex with children. Okay? So you must pick. And if you say you would rather have sex with children than be a Nazi, I don't know if that's a good look. I think that's a bad look. Megan is writing, you cannot have sex with children. You're assaulting children. Look. All I'm doing is keeping this as simple as possible here. The audience can choose between one of two things. And you have to write, hello, my name is so-and-so from so-and-so, and I choose to be a, and then you pick one of those two variables. So you can't just use your Twitch handle. You actually have to write your first name, your last name, where you work, the city you live in, and the schools that your kids go to. And to play this game properly, you then have to announce whether you are a Nazi or a pedophile. I don't get to play, unfortunately, because I'm running the game. And it's really weird. It seems like the audience interaction has dropped dramatically since I started to play this game. And I'm not really getting anybody to partake in it. And I can't figure out why. And you can't be like Rebecca there. And like say, no, I'd rather die. That's not an option. OBX22 is our pal Scotty G from Grand Rapids. David says this is a strange game, Easy. Oh, I know, but this is look, this is the lay of the land these days. Megan says there is no winning in this game. Look, this is an experiment to illustrate that there are actually, in my opinion, things that are worse than being a Nazi. Even though I'm running the game, I will commit to, if I had to choose between a pedophile and a Nazi, I will go Nazi. There. I did it. Kevin writes, Nazi over pedo, terrorist, or dog fucker. All right, hang out a second here. These are new variables. Over terrorist. You know, a lot of times terrorists are doing terroristic things in an effort to, like, change. Like, there are various groups that exist in America that are terrorists that are fighting to keep chickens alive. They will cause destruction at chicken farms. They'll glue their hands to the floor at a basketball game. A person like that, Aram would support. I think. Kevin says an Islamic terrorist. Why an Islamic terrorist? There are domestic terrorists that are terrible as well. I mean, you look at Timothy McVeigh or the Unabomber. I think we got to be careful in the choices of our groups that we pit in the March Madness of terrible, which is what we could call this. The March Madness, the March Badness. So you'd have one bracket, Nazi, that's a number 1 seed, taking on pedophile. what's worse in March Badness. Dog fucker could be in this. All very interesting to me. All right. This is another one of those moments where I do not recall how we got to this point. Maybe you know, but I don't. The last thing I actually remember until I got into this haze is talking about being a professor. It sometimes startles me and scares me how weird things get from time to time, where I just don't remember things. Adam says the fight in Congress had a lot to do with it. Yes, the fight in Congress did have a lot to do with this, because that opened the door for various comments about this. I will say that Representative Sarah McBride, from this view right here, looks like a chick. That's one of the things about transgender people that most people are curious about. How do they look?
Mr. McBride.
And here, Representative McBride, did I say Sarah? I think I did. I guess I'm not sure. Looks like a chick.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
I talked to a family member the other day with my daughter marrying a transgender man. Some of you are like, wait, what? Yeah, that's true. Madison's getting married June 6th to a transgender man. And the family member had just found out. And one of the questions was, well, does Ash look like a guy? And I go, yeah. I go, there's still some soft features that might make you go, wait a minute. But definitely, Representative McBride. And I give those two credit because they'll answer any questions as long as they're respectful. So we have conversations all the time about that stuff. And they're always very patient with me. That's the only way we've been able to get to where we are, is just by like, all right, you got to let go everything and just ask questions and talk. And it's worked out quite well. Chris says a very feminine voice too. Sometimes trans women don't sound very feminine. Okay. Sarah McBride. There she is. No, that's some other dude. I don't know who that is. Sarah McBride. Yeah, definitely can pull it off. In most cases. In fact, if no one said to me, hey, if I didn't know that Sarah McBride was a dude ahead of time, I wouldn't know it. I just don't think that way. You know, I'm just focused on what's in front of me. But knowing what I know, yeah, I can tell. I mean, who couldn't? This is the guy that's made the comment. This old fucker. I think this TV station does like a news story about it. I'm curious how they approach it. There's an ad I don't want. I'll skip the ad, of course. Here this goes.
I now recognize the representative from Delaware, Mr. McBride.
I think this is just what we saw already.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ranking Member Keating, also wonderful.
Mr.
I'm
Chairman,
sorry.
could you repeat your introduction again, please?
Yes, we have set the
Representative.
standard on the floor of the House, and I'm simply.
What is that standard, Mr. Chairman?
the
Would you
standard-
repeat what you just said when
I-
you introduced a duly elected representative from the United States of America. Please.
I will. The
Shut up. Quit yelling at me.
representative from Delaware, Mr. McBride.
Mr. Chairman, you are out of order. Mr. Chairman, have you no decency?
Let's see more on this. Having no decency, Keating insisted that self-introduced a duly elected representative the right way. We heard all that. Republican lawmakers have targeted McBride and refused to acknowledge trans people's identity. This is what you guys were talking about after President Donald Trump signed executive orders declaring only two sexes. McBride said, "No matter how I'm treated by some colleagues, nothing diminishes my awe and gratitude at being to represent Delaware in Congress." So she shrugs it off, which is cool. McBride later posted, "I simply want to serve and try to make this world a better place." Yeah, she's cool. Ding Dong needs to not lose his composure. And if you're the old fuck, you know, he's just leaning into what his leader directed him to do, and that is be an asshole. This is why we say that the R word is back. The reason behind that is because the asshole who's running the show says, yeah, fuck it, you can do what you want, which that's the way it goes. That is what people voted for. They voted for that type of indecency. They voted for 0 401ks. They voted for no more Mexicans. They voted for no one actually doing the jobs that no one wants. That's what they voted for. And we will just have to take that. Don't freak out. It'll be over eventually, and then we'll move on. We're going to be fine. Rebecca puts it best, with bigots are feeling really comfortable saying what they say. Someone needs to start punching them in the throat. I think it's you. I don't want to be on the receiving end of one of your punches. Dan asks, honest question here. In a dating situation, do trans people tell the other person that they are trans? I don't know. Kevin says, I would imagine they do. If they didn't, they'd just be being a dishonest person. Yeah, I think ultimately it would be you definitely want to get out in front of that, because no matter what you do, let's just say Sarah McBride had the most money in the world and could had the best doctors, so that actually went ahead with the surgery and reworked the plumbing there. You know, Mother Nature is the best sculptor of female genitalia, not Dr. What's-His-Face. So I'm imagining this has happened where someone in a situation like Sarah McBride has said, well, I look so good that no one's going to know. And then you get down to the moment of the truth when the guy's ready to be on the business end of that thing. He's like, wait a minute, hold on a second here. And might say, wait a minute, something looks a little weird about this. Is there something you want to tell me? You don't want to be in that moment and find that information out. So I would guess that that is a very rare thing, you know, where someone doesn't reveal that. For me, if I were in the scenario, like let's say Pooh Bear got ran over by a monster truck. And then, after a appropriate mourning period, I decided to date again. And I met a beautiful woman. And then if the woman said, all right, I used to be a dude. But you can't tell, which is, there's a lot of people that are transgender that you actually can't. And then I would have to say, well, it's going to sound strange, but I got to see it. I mean, I got to see it. And I got to look at it. Okay. And I'm going to be pretty strict about this. And even then, that would only lead to, now I got to think. And I would have, and then in that moment where I got to think, it wouldn't surprise me if the person that I was courting would say, well, if you got to think, then I'm probably not for you. And I'd say, you're probably right, but that's just where my brain is. You know, I don't think I would be like our pal Jimmy Norton. He married a transgender woman that has full dick and balls. Now, Jimmy Norton's wife, until you get a look at the undercarriage there, you can't tell that was born a man, you know. But he actually, that's what he wants. That isn't like he's putting up with that. That is his ideal partner. And, it works for him. So I think he had indicated many times before that he has his sexuality is kind of like a moving target. I think mine is not. You know, I've made it very, very clear. I'm 92% heterosexual. That 8% allows me to simply just say, hey, he's a good-looking guy. That's what 8% will get you. Oh, my God, look how handsome he is. Holy shit. You know, it gives me the ability to, you know, if I was 100%, I'd say I don't judge guys. But I do, you know. That 8% on the Kinsey scale, that's me. I am that degree of gay. All right. Chris says, I'll be the one to say it. Say, it wouldn't bother me. Love is love. Fuck it. Yeah, and a lot of people think that. Madison is in that ballpark. Matt makes a comment. I don't even want to read it for fear that my new professor team is going to be watching this. Yoda Whirl adds, all I'm going to say is they cannot fix a burn victim right, so I don't imagine doctors are all that great. I don't know if that's the same, man. All right. Rebecca says that they already have started the violence towards transgender people. Yeah, I don't know about that. Maybe I haven't heard anything. All right, that pretty much exhausts the amount that I'm going to discuss with you, that whole saga. But that was a hell of a moment. I mean, and again, they're not going to get anything done if they have to put up with that shit. They need to have a meeting outside of the chambers and say, look, you know, I get it. You wanted, but can you just refer to me as Representative McBride just so we can get some work done? Is that possible? Kevin says what you're all overlooking is that most, and then he puts it in quotes, trans people these days have their original genitals. They're just cross dressers. Yeah, I don't know that. I don't know that to be true. And perhaps you have more information out there than the average person has. I don't know how anybody could possibly know that. I think it's all what's going on there is typically you have a person who's transgender and they don't feel comfortable in their skin. They would rather be a different gender, so they do what they can to feel comfortable. And some are scared to go through with the procedures. Some cannot afford it. It's like that. But if they could, they most certainly would. I don't think you can. It seems like you're trivializing it with that comment. All right. Moving on. First of all, before I get into anything else, this show is brought to you by our friends at the Grand Rapids Gold. We've got a game coming up Saturday. It is Space Jam night. Oh, my God, Space Jam. Get tickets for the Grand Rapids Gold at NBAGrandRapids.com. The kids are going to have a great time. You're going to love the game. Watching G League basketball is phenomenal. Very, very cool. Grand Rapids Gold, found online at NBAGrandRapids.com. The insurance guru on this show is Frank Fuss. Frank will help you with your healthcare.gov policy. You can find Frank at buyinsurancehere.com. That is buyinsurancehere.com. And his services are free of charge. And it doesn't matter where you are in the U.S., Frank will help you out. Buyinsurancehere.com. My latest sponsor is Adam Kasari, Realtor. 616-914-4061. You can find him on Facebook on at Adam Kasari, Casari Realty. He's awesome. If you are in West Michigan, you want to buy a home, get started by reaching out to Adam today. 616-914-4061. That's 616-914-4061. Kevin follows up his comment with, it just seems to me that there are more people identifying as trans than getting these operations. But again, what do I know? Well, yeah, no one really knows, man. I think what you're dealing with when you hear, because I've heard that argument before, like, oh, yeah, there's just more and more of them. Well, it's not like they're becoming. They're just finally getting the nerve to say, hey, this is who I am. You know, they've always been there, gays and transgender people. It's just now there's less chance, or they're getting up the courage to actually say who they are, and that's good. You can't go wrong with that. You want more people being comfortable. Will there be people who go back and forth? Yes. In fact, I have a family friend whose child identified as a chick and then went back to a dude. And that's been the gotcha moment by folks on the right saying, see? It's like, look, they're having a tough enough time. I wouldn't want to get in the way of whatever they're going through. Just leave them alone. Kevin says, I do have a cousin who went through with the surgery and regretted it deeply, but that's just one case. Yeah, that happens too. That can be fucked up. Rebecca says, physical transition versus societal transition doesn't matter. It's not that difficult to meet someone where they're at in life and respect their wishes. Yeah, that's kind of where I am. I don't give a shit. I just want people happy. As you know, that's all I do is make people happy. Kevin says, my cousin was a he, became a she. Now he's identifying as a he again, but lives without a dick. Ooh, wow. Like Zayn. True. Bob says, then there's the old Opie and Anthony Kobayashi Maru question. Bailey J, hot-looking girl with a penis, or Buck Angel, looks like Stone Cold Steve Austin but has a vagina. David says, honest question. If a guy does not feel comfortable in their skin, how do they know they would be comfortable as a woman? Yeah, that's a good question to ask. I have a friend who is a dude, but wishes to be a female. It's it's a pal in Nashville. I don't want to say his name because I don't remember if he cares. And I'll never forget it. I met him over at Mayday Brewing in Nashville. And this was probably 10 years ago, and I did not know what it was or what it meant to be transgender. All I know is I've got a man's man in front of me. And I just meet this person for the first time. And I'm just going to say the person's name is Leon. And I go, "Hey, Leon, nice to meet you." And he goes in very effeminate voice, delivery, and pitch. And she, I'm not even sure what Leon goes by right now. Goes and starts crying. And I go, "What?" Now, I don't know anything about, it hasn't been revealed to me that this person is transgender. And it'd be like looking at me. And Leon gets emotional, like a chick. He goes, oh my God, it's so good to see you. Oh, Jesus. And I'm like, what's happening here? I'm a woman. I go, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm transgender. I go, okay, so what does that mean to me? Can you explain what that is? I look like a man, but I'm a woman. I go, all right, you're going to have to give me some time on this. I mean, that's totally cool. And let's sit down and have a drink. I'll have a water or an apple cider, and you can have a beer. But you got to break this down for me. So we then spent significant time talking about it. And so I got to a point and I go, so you want to actually be a woman? Yes. I go, well, why don't you? I'm scared. I go, oh, okay. And then he goes, let me introduce you to my wife. And there's this beautiful woman. And my kids. And there's kids. So now I'm really fucked up. I'm like, okay, what's going on here? They're also very supportive of me. They want me to be a woman. I go, oh, God, I got to see okay, you got to go through with this. You got to do this. And then shoot video of, like, that spot in your house where you have all the family pictures and start with the first one. And then work your way through all the way to the most recent after you've got this person's in their 40s, you know? I'm like, shit, that is fucking sweet. I did find out now that I don't think that this person, Leon, has gone through with it, but the marriage did not work out ultimately. So I was sad to hear that. Megan says, I would hope that whomever is questioning or transitioning has had the opportunity to work with a therapist before making a surgical commitment. Most people socially transition before they ever physically transition. I could not walk into my doc's office and ask for a referral to surgery for gender reassignment without my doctor asking a fuck ton of questions. I don't know how that works. And that was what my family member said to me, the same one who asked, hey, does Hash look like a dude? That was another question. Well, has Hash undergone counseling? And I said, I don't know. I'm not sure. And I brought it up with Madison, and I don't even remember the answer because I don't care. I don't give a shit. Nick says, I sent the famous misgendering GameStop video. It's only a minute long. All right, let's do this. Transgender goes psycho on GameStop employee.
You're gonna give me my fucking money back.
Excuse me, sir. There's a young man in here. You need to
I
watch him
apologize,
out.
but excuse me, it's ma'am.
I'm sorry.
It is ma'am.
I can call the police if you'd like me to. You need to settle down.
You need to settle down and mind your business, okay?
Both of you guys?
Ma'am, once again, ma'am.
I said both of you.
No, you said
I said both of you.
sir. Once again, it's ma'am.
I actually said both of you guys. It was in general.
Right beforehand, you fucking said sir.
Sir? Okay.
Motherfucker, take it outside. If you want to call me sir again, I will show you a fucking sir.
I apologize.
Motherfucker.
I apologize now.
I need your corporate number because I'm going to call them and talk about how it's misgendered several times in this store.
Yeah, you don't want to fuck with the person. You don't do that. They'll kick your ass.
I need your corporate number now.
I can get it for you. It's not a problem.
Get it for me now.
I can do that. I'm going to ask you to calm down and stop cussing.
Give me your
Stop
corporate
hitting
number.
destroying property.
Well, I'm going to ask you for the 5th time to stop calling me a man because quite clearly I am not.
And I apologize. I'm sorry for that, ma'am. I will get you that number. Is that okay?
Yes, get it for me now.
I'm asking you to stop
Get it
cussing.
for me now. I'm not cussing. I'm not cussing. Give me the damn number now, please.
The person, this chick, would be better off just looking it up online.
Ooh!
Ma'am, I apologize.
Ooh!
I apologize, ma'am. Stop
Get it
cussing.
for me now. I'm not cussing. I'm not cussing. Give me the damn number now, please. Ooh!
Said sir again.
Ma'am, I apologize.
Ooh!
Yeah, I think a person has to be patient. I mean, both sides here.
I will get you that number right now.
No, you're just gonna keep bumping your gums. You're just gonna keep bumping your gums and disrespecting trans people in this store, which I plan on telling the entire LGBTQ community. You're going to lose money over this.
Okay. Fuck. Yeah, that's tough. Shit. Starman says give her a My Doll. Molly says assholes need to quit attacking the LGBTQ plus community. They're some of the nicest people you'll meet. I agree with that. My God. There's a lot to process there. We have as I have become very in tune with this, as you can possibly tell, I'm about to have a transgender son-in-law. There was a couple of, to me, it all boiled down to, what do you want? What do you want me to call you? And I'm just happy that my daughter's happy. And I like you. I think you're great. I'll say this. Madison brought home some of the biggest losers prior to announcing that she was gay. All right? She brought home guy who stutters. And I was like, I hate stutters. I stutter. I haven't in a long time. I used to stutter a lot. But that was boyfriend number one. Polite, but I just couldn't get past the stutter. I know it sounds horrible, but it's dinner time, and Ding Dong wants me to pass the ketchup. I mean, and this was like, when it comes to stutters, this dude was the Tom Brady of stutters. And it was all words that begin with P. So he wants to say, please pass the ketchup. Sir, could you... I'm like, I just grabbed it, gave it to him. And this went on. It was just a drag. And I was like, okay, I can't take this shit. David says that's not very tolerant, easy. I know that. It just goes right into my brain. I don't know why it is. Like, remember our game, Nazi or pedophile? I think I would rather be a Nazi than a stutterer. Or, no, even worse. If I had to choose between a friend, would I choose a Nazi or a stutterer? I would choose a Nazi without 10 out of 10 times. Cole says you should have acted like your dad did to your friend. Yeah, and maybe that's where this comes from. I don't know. Okay? But had to have been before 8 years old because that's when Dad left and never came back. So I'm guessing, and I met Matt in second grade. So, hold on. Darla, honey. No. So it had to be 7 or 8 years old in the backyard playing with Tonka trucks. My dad was working on the Impala. Drunk, as usual. We're in the grass doing Tonka trucks. Matt, to this day, has a bad stutter. And so I'm just like, hey, man, here you go. And he's like, and I'm just like, oh, whatever, no big deal. And I guess it was aggravating my father. He gets down, bends down to the kid's face, and he did like that scene in the Adam Sandler movie when he goes, today, Junior. He did that. He went up to him and goes, what's wrong with you? Spit it out. And the kid's just like looking at him. And it just got real quiet. It was horrible. I remember that vividly. The only thing you remember that young are terrible things. You don't remember good things because most of your days are filled with good things. You remember terrible things, like when Peter Batchy at my birthday party slid in the shit, or my dad getting in my friend's face and insulting him like that, or realizing that my mother gave my asshole half-brother the freedom to beat me if I got out of line. Never forget that one. Oh, man. Like, there was no father to whip my ass. So she said to my brother, half-brother, who's 12 years older than me, and I got no warning on this. So here I am, 9, 10. He's 22. Actually, I was younger than that because he was out of the house by then, I think. She gave him the badge and said, there's no father figure. I need you to kick his ass. And I wasn't told, hey, this is law enforcement now, which would have been a fucking courtesy. No. It was like the next time I acted up, he turned on me and beat my ass. Now, there was some extra stank on him bashing my ass in with his hand because he hated my dad for whatever reason. There was always some nonsense claim that my dad beat him, but I never saw that. So he probably whooped his ass, but not like abused him. That's what I believe. I mean, I never saw anybody get abused. I would have remembered that for sure when my dad was there, but I never saw that once. So this dickhead is given full authority to beat the fuck out of me, and boy, did he. Fuck that. No wonder why I don't talk to that fucker anymore. All right. Donut Dan says, oh, man, did that kid ever come back to your house again? Oh, yeah. I still talk to him today. It's painful sometimes to have communication. I try to text. I don't want to talk to him, you know. Even when we're together, I'm like, yeah, just text me. Yeah, I know you're standing right next to me, but just send me a text. All right. How the fuck anyway. So that was the one guy Madison brought home, was stuttering guy. And thank God when she dumped him. Son of a bitch. And then she brought back Beluga Head. This fucking guy had the biggest fucking forehead. It was clear Mom didn't get the helmet or she drank. But I took one look at this pussy. And I'm like, this is not good. And so I instantly judged the first guy with the stutter, and I was right. I instantly judged this guy with the protruding forehead. It looked like a beluga whale the second I saw him. And okay, he's a pussy. And he was. As evidenced when he started to weep by the fire during the initiation ritual up north that my 90-year-old dad would do. And he couldn't figure out the initiation. Long story short, he was embarrassed because he didn't get the joke. And he started to cry. He ran away from the fire, and Madison had to go console him. Madison consoling a person freaking out? I mean, Madison's a freaker-outer herself. Cole says, you need to have Madison listen to this. Oh, we've had this discussion. I said to her, honey, I am so glad you have found Ash. This is the first normal person you've dated. Thank God. And then they've fallen in love. And they will be married June 6th. It's going to be great. I have to do that speech, you know, that and I'm great at these. I hit it out of the fucking park at Jackie's wedding. So my preparation involved nothing. Just give me the mic. I had a couple things in my head that I wanted to mention. And I don't have anything in my head right now about this. But I think I would be remiss if I didn't focus on giving them credit as a couple of having talking about their relationship dynamic. I don't think you can have that type of a dynamic without putting it out there in a commendable way about how it's one thing to get married. That's another thing. You know, who doesn't support someone getting married? But there are people, hopefully not in that room, who will not support your marriage. And you go into that at the start, knowing that there are a portion of the world that don't support you getting married. That makes this an extra special moment, in my opinion. Now, I haven't put that into words yet. I don't know how I'll make that clear and poignant, but I think that has to, at some point, be touched on. What do you think? Or do I just say, oh, you love each other, you're going to be great, and go have babies. Go adopt children. Go do in vitro fertilization. I don't know about that. Dan says, do this speech about all those before. I might have to. You know how like every speech you do at a wedding, you got to have some funny element to it, but I don't want to bust out the hot take about stutterer guy, because what if there's someone there who stutters? So I don't think I can go that deep on the comedy. You know, you got a mixed crowd. Fuck, there might be people here right now listening to me that are stutterers. All right? And, you know, tough shit. These are jokes. You're just going to have to live with it. But I don't know if I have that level of braveness when I'm in the room. Dan says, what if she invites some of those past guys? Oh, my God. Can you imagine? It'd be fantastic. The awkward. Eric Zane, also known as Larry Zane from Curb Your Enthusiasm. Maureen says they will face different challenges than most married couples. That's for sure. I like that. And that's something to build on because, you know, you're always looking towards the this will make you strong type of vibe. I think that's a good thing. And Aram agrees. That would not go well. You would be comparing Ash to people you didn't like. Well, some people might take it that way, but I could also word it as saying, yeah, these are the people that she brought home that I knew that weren't going to work out. And it wasn't until I met Ash that I knew we had a keeper. So there is a way to navigate that, but I don't know if I'll touch on that anyway. All right. Is the NFK going to make a speech? Boy, that would be funny. It'd be funny just to play a prank on him and say, hey, it's time for you to say a few words and give him the mic. Aram says, you want to compare Ash to people you really like, but you like Ash even more than the best people you know. Yeah, whatever. What do you know? I'm kidding. Sound like free beer. What else was I going to say about this? There was one more thing I was going to touch on. Damn it. Where is it? Get back in there. Get back in my head. Okay, never mind. It's gone. What else do I want to talk about here? But Nick, thank you for sending that clip. That was a great clip. Let's see. What are we going to talk about now? All right. I touched on being the professor. There was another thing. Nope. Okay. Sorry. My brain's a little scattered here. Luigi Mangione, the guy that shot insurance dude. He's sitting in jail. He's getting his legal team ready. Now, what continues to be almost as big as the actual story of him shooting insurance guy in the back is the overwhelming support from young people who think that insurance should be when you sign up, everything's paid for and nothing is turned down. That idealistic view of the world that most normal people who are not retarded understand that is not possible. I know this. In order for me to get 80% of Madison's MRI paid for, which that bill is right here, and I am paying the $2,173 down. In order for me to get that paid for 80%, one of you needs to be denied cancer coverage. So that's the way it works. So all of these people get MRIs and they get their cancer care paid for, but this one particular person, you lose. You're not getting your cancer care paid for. And thank God that person is not getting their cancer care. Because if that person had gotten their cancer care, my bill would be $10,288.55. As it is, because your leukemia is going to ruin you and you're going to die, I'm saving $8,105.27. after I paid my $10. So that's pretty fucking cool. All right. Now, not everybody can have this poignant of a take about insurance and honest about it. But I'm just speaking the truth. All of you are in the same boat. The problem is you're all liars and whores because this is what you do. You go, we got to go get the insurance company. You take this stupid Bill Burr take on it and demand change. And I'm like, fuck that shit. I don't want any change. It's perfect the way it is. I give you a few bucks a month. And then if something goes haywire, you're paying for most of the bill. That's how it goes. And all they got to do is deny some asshole insurance coverage. Come on. Still, though, idealistic butt fucks, I'll increase that to 40 and under, are like, it's such a scam. I hate this shit. Like Molly here, she's a dipshit. She writes, fuck insurance. Oh, really? Well, then don't pay it. You go ahead and live without your insurance. See how far that gets you. Now, David is here. Now, he's the only one that could probably, maybe, have an axe to grind. David's lovely wife passed away because of denied cancer coverage. Exactly what I'm talking about here. Talk about somebody who actually has an axe to grind. He's the guy. That's the one. Molly says, I have to pay $9,000 for them to cover anything. Wait a minute. You got the wrong policy. That means your deductible is that high. That's because you're paying a low premium each month, ding dong. You get that from your employer? You know you got good, better, best? You got good. Nick says health insurance is good. All other forms of insurance are a scam. She says $9,000 is more than what I have left over after everything is paid, you fuck nut. Yeah, I think you need a new policy, you dumb twat. Let's see. Bob says, yeah, it would have been great to be on the hook for the full cost of my son being born. Exactly. I remember in 1995, when my son was born, 1995, 30 years ago, he was in the neonatal intensive care unit for 14 days. The bill was $300,000. I paid $100,000. Perfect. I love insurance. I was sad when Luigi Mangione killed that guy. Scotty is here. He says to David, I'm in the same boat. I lost my wife too. And insurance was always a problem, not to mention doctors and misdiagnosis. God damn it, this is unbelievable. 2 coveted audience members have had to live with the loss of a wife, significant other. My God, gentlemen. The shit you have seen and been through. You should message each other and talk. I don't know what stages of grief you're in, how long it's been. I hope this show helps to some degree. It probably doesn't when I say that insurance is great because they turn down leukemia patients. It's probably not that. Now that right there is an example of a really accepting audience. I make that joke, and then these guys still are here trading punches too. That shows you how wonderful this audience is. As great as I am to take that ridiculously bold, stupid stance in front of people that actually have had that happen. Oh my God. What an asshole. Why do you guys do this? Shit, I would have dumped me in a second. I can't take that shit. I take it back. I would find it very funny. Like if Pooh Bear died and then I was in your shoes and the guy making the jokes was doing that, I'd be like, oh, fuck, can you believe this? I'd be laughing at how unbelievably awkward that is. David knows me. He's cool. He says, it's all good, Easy. You know I don't mean it. You know I don't want anybody to be diagnosed with cancer just so I can benefit. Well, I kind of do. Only if I can save $8,105.27. All right. You guys are pretty well adjusted, though, for having suffered that. You have my condolences. Well, anyway, Luigi kills that guy, and now all these idiots are sending him money so that he can get, like, the Johnny Cochran Dream Team. They love this guy. The latest big donor. And I don't know how they go about giving the money if, like, somebody set up a GoFundMe. But an anonymous donor just dropped $36,500, topping the previous record of $30,000. And now $722,000 has been raised on the Luigi Mangione Murder Defense Fund. The nameless benefactor, as it's described, or crazy fuckhead, said he or she was inspired by the huge swelling of support from a wide cross-section of people for Luigi Mangione. Now, let's think about that. He just shot that guy in the back and murdered him because he happened to lead an insurance company. That's it. He was pissed off because his insurance company, whatever, made his back recovery difficult or whatever the fuck. And he's crazy. So that's what he did. He didn't even have coverage through United Health. And they've made it seem like every single person who has United Health Care coverage, that they just deny everybody. They just steal your money and deny it, which that couldn't be further from the truth. Insurance works the way I described it earlier. It sounds ridiculous, but it's true. You have, you get your insurance, and if in the event something terrible happens, it's covered, most of it. You need special procedures done, it's covered, most of it. In some cases, depending on the type of insurance, it's all covered. For Molly here, she says she had pre-existing conditions. And, that sucks. But at the same time, it's all your fault. You're the one who got the pre-existing conditions. It's not the fault of the insurance companies that you have pre-existing conditions. I would be grateful if I were you to have any insurance. I'd be like, $9,000, thank you. That is awesome of you. I appreciate that. It could be 9,001. I think in the future, you've got to work on having less pre-existing conditions if you're going to get insurance. That's what I would do. All right, let's add Molly to the list of people who actually have a reason to quit the podcast after that joke. She says, you can pay $500 a month for me to have good insurance then. Well, all right. Yeah, there's that. But I don't think anybody's stopping you from coming up with another source of income to pay for your insurance. Obi says, condolences appreciated. I'm laughing because I know your sense of humor. There was definitely a time where I wouldn't be laughing, though. Happy to be past that. Aram says, I am still sad about Eric saying he is taking his final trip to Zion National Forest before passing away. Well, that was the other day. That if I get ALS, I would rather jump off of Angel's Landing or roll off than have my family just, sticking tubes down my throat. Rebecca says, I just want you to know how much I want to punch you right now, but I know you're doing it to get a reaction. And you joking is still getting under my skin. Fuck you, she says. All right. I still can't get over the fact that people are giving money to say, hey, you murdered that guy in cold blood, and we want you to have the best legal representation, and we're paying for it to hopefully free you and get you off scot-free so that you don't have to have any punishment from murdering him. And there are people who are stupid, like Kelly Cheese, who when they talk about this, they say ridiculous things like, I don't want to support murder or the murder, but, and then they'll give litany of reasons why Luigi Mangione is a good guy. And that's because she's a pussy. She should just say, I love that he murdered that guy, but she's a gutless twat. So that's what she does. I mean, I like her, but she has no nerve whatsoever to actually say what she wants to say. And that is she supports Luigi Mangione. If she could, let's say, hypothetically, make $36,500 mailing cannabis through the mail to friends in Georgia, she would probably donate it to Luigi Mangione. So there are some of you in the audience like Rebecca. She's probably going to give money to Luigi Mangione because she loves that he murdered an innocent man who has a family. She supports that. That's good for her. What intrigues me about this case is how unified people's responses are regardless of strata, the benefactor wrote. In corporate America, for instance, there has been widespread doubt of potential prosecutorial mishandling and overcharging. That's, saying big corporate. We must kill big corporate. I've also been surprised at the almost ubiquitous nature of support towards the suspect that I would expect to be quite bifurcated. Bifurcated, I don't know that word. In this type of litigation, quite exceptional, they added. Wow. He's being held without jail in a Brooklyn federal lockup, where he's received incredible support in the form of letters from fans while in jail, including many photos of women in thongs of female supporters. They think he's handsome. Like Rebecca, she would do that. The alleged murderer's defense fund swelled after it was rumored to be in a number of sex tapes circulating online. Mangione appeared in some porno videos. I mean, who hasn't at this stage of the game? I think that those were actually like produced porno videos. People want to see this guy having sex. They love him. He's got game. He's set for life. All right. Aram says you had it right the first time. Bifurcated means divided, separated, carved out. Thank you. I appreciate that. David says down with big insurance companies for not covering claims. Well, you can't. You can't say that. They cover most claims. Unfortunately, they didn't cover your claim. So I understand why you'd feel that way, but we do want insurance companies. Insurance companies still are a very good thing. Insurance helps people most of the time. We cannot disagree on that. That is true. It helps most of the time with most of the claim. Most of the time. Piano Finger Banger says, now here's where we get to the hypotheticals with you dumbasses. Easy, when your derpy prostate turns into a giant radioactive tumor and your insurance denies your treatment, I don't want to hear you whining. Yeah, unfortunately, I wouldn't be able to whine. You're right. The shoe would be on the other foot. if that scenario did come to play where they said, all right, we cannot help you and you will die. I'm going to have to take that medicine after this stance. You know? I mean, because I've talked about it extensively. I still don't see the problem. Nick says comment of the day is derpy prostate. Molly says, Eric Zane, it is time for you to go to sleep on this and then come back tomorrow and tell us you're fucking wrong, dick. David says, so it's okay if I'm mostly alive. Come on now. Most people will be benefiting from insurance. That is a fact. Scott says, you're not going to win this one, Easy. It's okay, though. No, I did win. I always win. I have never lost in my life at anything. All right. Before we continue on, thank you to the Mario Flores Lakeshore team of Van Dyke Mortgage. I talked earlier about Adam Casari as the realtor of choice. The first thing I want you to do is reach out to Mario and get pre-approved for a mortgage from no matter where you are in the U.S. You call Mario at 231-332-6505. That number is 231-332-6505. Buy now and refinance later. We are 1 month and 2 days away from the tax deadline. Reach out to Tag Accounting to get started today with getting your tax return done. TagCPA.net is the website. The number, 616-301-9516. The extent of what you have to do on your end will be gather up your documents that were mailed to you. You will have them scanned. You do that. And then you go to the online portal. They'll give you instructions how to do this. Browse, drag, drop. Browse, drag, drop. Press submit. That's it. Then your taxes are done. Your money shows up in your account. Thank you very much. Tag Accounting, tagcpa.net. Anywhere in the U.S., 616-301-9516. Yoda World's tapping out. Have a good one, Easy, and everybody. Turtle Girl Michelle says, I normally keep quiet, but I've suffered from fibromyalgia for half of my life now, and insurance has fought me every step of the way rather than actually being helpful. That should not be something that adds to my struggle. It should be a help for me. Yes. However, not everything can be covered by insurance. And there's got to be a reason, I don't know what, why fibromyalgia is not. I cannot answer that, but I can look it up. Why is fibromyalgia often not covered by insurance? I'm going to guess because this is a difficult thing to diagnose. And I'm right. I'm right. Ha, 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 ha. I love being right. Due to the subjective nature of the condition, the lack of objective diagnostic tests, and the difficulty in establishing a clear link between the condition and the inability to work, there is no objective test for fibromyalgia, and diagnosis is based largely on self-reported symptoms. So, that is why. And as much as you hate it, it's tough to argue that. I mean, I think you need to look at the medical industry as the thing that you need to be frustrated with. Something that could help you would be an accurate diagnosis based on whatever test needs to be done. So I think that might have something to do with it. Ladies and gentlemen, I think that this show in general may have been some of my best work. Never before have I been so right than I have today. It is time now to award the asshole of the day. I know none of you would vote for me. Brought to you by TC Paintball. Online at tcpaintballgr.com. Molly says I should be the asshole of the day. I'm not going to do that. There's no way I would do that. I need to make it that jerk that was misgendering Representative Sarah McBride. That would be Texas Republican Keith Self is the asshole of the day. There's no way that any of you with a clear conscience would say that I am more of an asshole than Keith Self. Impossible. If you do, then you need to cool your fucking jets, as my mother used to say. Cool your jets, Eric. You better cool your jets, or I'm going to have your asshole half-brother beat the shit out of you. That is your asshole of the day, brought to you by TC Paintball. Representative Keith Self from Texas. Congressman Keith Self. Fuck that guy. As usual, you've been an outstanding crowd. What a crowd. Great, great interaction. I really think that in the chat, especially after that bitch Tophus left challenging people to fights, that we have turned the corner in such a hilarious, amazing way. You're all wonderful. My condolences to those of you that lost loved ones. Thank you for being here, part of the show. I will talk to you next time. I'll talk to you on the Patreon. Talk to you on the Patreon. Sign up for free, patreon.com/Eric Zane. Quit being an asshole, Molly, and sign up for the fucking Patreon, you dumb twat. See you later. Bye-bye.